huge job losses. And it's very difficult to think long term. I think a lot of Ohioans, frankly, are just looking to the next 2 weeks for the next paycheck. Yet, even despite all of this, and even despite the very terrifying financial meltdown that was occurring last October and November, on November 4th, Ohioans went to the ballot and voted by almost 70% to continue the Clean Ohio Fund. Creates $400 million for brownfield cleanup, farmland preservation, and preservation of green space. So even despite this economic turmoil, Ohioans get it. They understand the importance of public health and safety. They understand the value of these programs. So I don't think we should shortchange them just because we think that there's fee increases, that there'll be some type of backlash here. And I think people also have to remember that even though we are in the throes of a recession, there will be a time when prosperity returns, and we're going to look back at the wisdom of the decisions that we're making today. And people are going to say, did we overreact, or did we make the best decisions we could with the tools we had available for ourselves and for our children? So I hope we do that. I hope we make the best decision. And I hope that the General Assembly, working with the governor, will transfer the Scenic Rivers program to help save it, approve the small conservation fee on canoes and kayakers, and finally vote for the modest increases in the waste disposal fees. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Josh.
We had a lot of qualified people today really speak to a lot of the issues with the budget, so I'll keep it brief. And first I want to say green space, clean air, and clean water are a public right, and our government has a responsibility to provide a safe and clean environment. However, our government agencies don't have the resources necessary to continue this work. In these tight economic times, we're not asking for program support from general funds. Instead, we encourage the protection of critical environmental programs through creative financing and fees that will not require tax increases. We ask our state lawmakers to support the transfer of scenic rivers to the Division of Watercraft as approved by the House. We went over this in more detail previously, but for more than 40 years, this program has been protecting Ohio's water, wildlife, and recreational resources. And this transfer and very small, modest fee on paddlers will save the program and continue to promote Ohio's tourism industry. And as you've heard from these folks, Ohioans can really benefit from that industry, and protecting our environment and protecting jobs do go hand in hand. We also support the waste disposal fees as proposed by the governor that would fund critical EPA and ODNR programs. With some of the lowest tipping fees in the Midwest, Ohio can easily increase these fees to fund programs that protect public health and keep our land, air, and water clean. Now, since the beginning of this budget process, we've heard from more than 100 concerned Ohioans who place a high value on Ohio's public lands, our parks, our nature preserves. They've shared a lot of stories with us about family experiences with hiking and camping or canoeing down a scenic river. And many did not realize what Ohio has to offer and are still discovering their appreciation for Ohio's unique and diverse landscape. And I'm going to read a couple of those statements from Ohioans to make it a little bit more localized, but we have one resident from Bowling Green, Ohio states that Ohio's parks are a place to get away from the stress of everyday life. Nature reminds us that there's more to life than money and work. It helps us relax, be more human, and have more perspective on problems. And this is a resident who visits state parks regularly, particularly Maumee Bay and Muskegon State Park. And finally, just to sum it up nicely, a resident of Northeast Ohio states, I frequent the park system 3 to 4 times per week, year-round. We are taxpayers and deserve to have these jewels protected by our government. So we encourage residents across the state to contact their state legislators and ask that they vote for a greener budget. We're calling on our state lawmakers to protect the quality of life for all Ohioans and preserve our natural resources by continuing the progress that we are celebrating here today. So thank you very much.